Hello, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to Savvy Women of Social Media. And we are continuing our series on COVID-19 and how it has affected us 6 or 7 months later. Today, I'm talking with Tina, president of Imprintable Solutions Ink. And she has been learning and evolving as a business owner for the last 7 years. The company is a service that is of service to its community. They uplift company and organizations' branding and marketing efforts through printing, promotional products, and decorated apparel. The company started a division called Imprinting Lives, which works with various organizations to support the community's young people between the ages of 16 and 22 who are disconnected from education, sustainable employment, and the trades. The work on soft skills, light manufacturing, and overcoming various systematic barriers to move themselves forward. So, welcome, Tina. How are you?
I'm well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for doing this again. Interview number 2 for you.
Right.
So, how has COVID affected you personally, if it has, with you, your family? What's been going on?
I would say, on a personal level, COVID has had a lot of different impacts. I think for me personally, it's really exacerbated or brought to light, or we figure out things that we may not have known about ourselves or others because we've had to stay in the same place, shelter in place, going out, grocery shopping, not being able to find things. Our stress levels have gone up, our stress levels have gone down. Who Everybody has COVID brain, right? Like it's like, oh, what day of the week is it? And those are all things that impact you personally. And then add to that running two businesses on top of it. And then, having to be, you feel like the world is on your shoulders when you're an employer. So, yeah.
So, how has it affected you emotionally? Because I know the joys of working from home right now.
Right,
All right,
right.
go on, go. Because I know when it first hit us, my husband and I were both in our little depressed modes, and
Hmm.
us trying to adjust with homeschooling and just being thrown into it. I think
Hmm.
now I've gotten a system and now a routine now that he's back to remote learning. But how has it affected you emotionally, if it has?
So I think starting out initially when it happened, it was a big old WTF for me, right? So, and with that comes a lot of different emotions, mixed emotions. So
Yeah.
there was definitely fear of the unknown. And as we were, hang on a second. Oops, sorry. Where'd you go? There we go. As we were going from, 25% of your workforce, 50%, 75%, 100%, what's an essential business, what's not an essential business, everything was happening so fast, that, the WTF came out of my mouth. The fear set in, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm a small business owner, blah, blah, blah. I'm responsible for all these lives. We go through that. And then it just became hardcore focus, hardcore. I went from being, some would say that I'm assertive. I'm going to use that word, but I went from being assertive to aggressive and getting information, finding information, implementing information. And I went into like hyper focus mode and into, I don't know if you've ever done crisis intervention. I think I pulled from when I was a firefighter, you only have so many seconds to make life-changing decisions. And that was muscle memory that came back for me, even though I wasn't technically fighting a fire, that was only going to last, an hour or 30 minutes. This is something that has gone on for far too many months.
Mm,
Um, Not, we don't have any control over it, but it
yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
But I went into that crisis intervention, and then we have fight, flight, or freeze, and I definitely went into fight mode. Um, yeah, so it's been exhausting for all of us.
Now, were you, because I don't think you were an essential business, but did you have to work from home then? Did you have to, how
So
did it
yes,
affect you when it first hit business wise?
we yeah, so we started out. We have been set up to work remotely on the administrative side for probably about 3 years already. So that wasn't, and that was just like, okay, yeah, go home and work, right? But the production end, you have to be here to work production. And I had at the time, I have the Imprinting Lives division. I have all these interns underneath me, and because they were connected to a staffing agency, they weren't eligible for unemployment. So
Mm.
they need to keep earning, right? If this is their only income stream, they still have rent, they still have food, they still have, all the things that we have, but they're not eligible for the unemployment, right? So they were eligible for the pandemic, the $600 a week.
Mm.
So, but I had to get creative. So I took our equipment. Some of you may know that I have these little pieces of equipment that we can print t-shirts in 3 to 5 minutes at events. Obviously, every event on the face of the earth was wiped off. So I took that equipment, moved it to wherever they were staying, and we started 7 little micro businesses.
That's
So I started a website. As orders came in, we would divvy them up to the interns. They would have the opportunity to, we got inventory to them, we got machines to them. If they didn't have Wi-Fi, we made sure that they had hotspots. So we did a little bit of moving and shaking. And then we found out that we, in fact, are an essential business because of the work that we do with financial institutions and
okay.
the medical industry. Yep. So that deemed us an essential business. But there was nobody, like nobody in the office, and we were bringing in interns. Everything was staggered, everything was far apart, and anybody that could be working from home was working from home. But it's been interesting, but we shifted pretty quick, Is business down? Absolutely. Business is down about 30%.
Mm.
And that's because we're mostly business to business. And the majority of our businesses aren't at 100% yet. But the interesting thing is we've picked up a lot of new customers, and our production has increased, which actually we just went and bought a new piece of equipment because we are that busy in production versus in the promotional products and the printing aspect of it.
That's good though, because you
Yeah,
started making masks, printing masks then when this first started.
we did. And April, we printed over 22,000 masks.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how did that make your interns feel knowing that I'm sure at first they were very scared because, like you said, I didn't know that they couldn't get unemployment and the
Yep.
bonus. How did that make them feel to know that they could still work and still produce and have something to do to keep them busy?
So I don't know that I can't speak for them, and I certainly can't tell their story because it's their story to tell. I can tell you that all the interns that I had, I actually have more. So we're up to 23 interns, and I can tell you those interns are still here. Some of them have come off internship and onto our payroll, and we haven't lost anybody. So
Good.
that's information I can give you, and we can make
Yeah.
um, yeah, we can make assumptions from that.
So, with what you do with Imprinting Lives, helping the community, I know through social media you shared a lot of helpful information and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But what were you able to do to help the community and especially the people that you love helping? Because you have a little area in tell what you have in your office. You have the little kitchen area and stuff like that.
Right. So we partnered with Brothers and Sisters Unisex Salon, and they have Sweet Item A's food pantry at their site. So they're the west side, and we are an extension of them on the east side. So I do have a food pantry for the general public if they should need something. Transportation has definitely become even more of a challenge. For those that are riding RTS, if you don't have a face mask on and you're the only one at the bus stop and they pull up, and if it's in your pocket or in your purse and not on your face, they will literally drive away.
Oh, wow.
So to have as many resources in the community that folks can get to, if they're closer to us, if RTS can't get to them and they're in the neighborhood, the door is always open. So we have that pantry. We also have, so we stock our kitchen. We have a full kitchen here. And the intern, so what I do is I go grocery shopping once a month. Everybody puts down what it is they like. It's not for me to tell you what to eat. It's for you to tell me what, is good to your palate. So we stock the kitchen. We have a full bathroom with, the shower, soap, shampoo, conditioner, toothbrushes, toothpaste, feminine hygiene, whatever it is our team members need. And then we have a washer and dryer on site as well. So, and that's all for every team member that's here. And I think one of the interesting things is it's very normalized here, only because, especially during our busy times, there will be days, weeks where I literally won't leave the shop, where I'll work a third shift overnight, for a week to get us, caught up or ahead, or sometimes not even ahead, which is good. It's a good problem to have. But they know that Tina uses the kitchen, that Tina uses the bathroom, that Tina uses the washer and dryer. So, as their leader, as their, the team leader, it's something that's just very normalized here to be able to take care of your personness and then go to work.
So I think that's awesome that you do that. I've always loved hearing the things that you do. You're always brainstorming on new ideas. So what are you producing now with say the names of your machines? They're so cute.
So we have direct-to-garment equipment. So we have Nessie and Ricky. We have Hiccup and Astrid, which are, yeah, those are our embroidery pieces of equipment. And then we have the Easy Bake family. So we have Easy Bake, Mini Bake, Wake and Bake, Lazy Bake, Crazy Bake. Did I say Mini Bake yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Shake and Bake and
I
Wake and
think it's
Bake.
so funny. It's so cute.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what are you producing right now that is keeping you guys so busy?
Yeah, so just this week, let's see, we have an order for 2,600 face coverings that we're printing. So that's keeping us very busy. We do have one of our customers, they're a retail company, online, website only. They've actually stayed relatively steady. Initially, they got slow, and then as people are sitting at home and they're wanting to buy things and they're wanting to do something, you can't go out and go shopping. So they've kept us busy. And then we just got an order for 4,500 tote bags that we're going to be printing. We have to get those out. Yeah. So, but up until that point, we've done a lot for Black Lives Matter. We've done a lot for Due Process. That's DOO process. Check him out. Young man's name is Chad. He started it. He's got an amazing story to tell. So all those things coming together have really, really, really kept us, it's kept us going forward. We're very fortunate. So fortunate.
Yeah, you are. I'm so happy for you. So you said that the promotional product aspect of this is down.
Yeah.
Do you see that going back up once businesses start opening?
I do. I do. You hear conflicting things, I think, in the media. And if you really want to get to the grassroots and the brass tacks of it all, you really need to be speaking to the business owners who have their boots on the ground, right? We still have 16 million Americans out of work. We have a lot of people in Rochester that are still out of work, not coming back to work, working remotely. So employers can't do events, aren't doing employee recognition type things, unless it's on a super small scale. Everybody has had to scale back tremendously. Nobody's going to events. Nobody's signing up to do events. If you're doing an event, it's via Zoom. People have definitely gotten creative. What they're finding is, participants in a Zoom atmosphere or an online or digital atmosphere would still love to have that tactile experience. So how do you get creative and put that piece in there for them? So we have some companies that have done a really great job with that. But I do see, as more and more people are getting back to work, not necessarily in the office, sometimes in the office, but as it's picking up, we're starting to pick up. But we're still, I think April really saved our biscuits.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and we're definitely not pulling the numbers we were last year. We had a record-breaking year last year. So it just kind of breaks my heart. But the thing that warms my heart is we're still moving forward. We're still gaining traction. New customers are coming in. We're getting creative. Our customers are getting creative. And all of that coming together um, is keeping us, I don't want to use the word status quo, but it's keeping us going,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we've definitely had to shift. One of the things that we did, so I told you about the things that we did with the interns.
Mm-hmm.
We also went to, for those who aren't aware and do have team members, there's New York State has a shared work program, and that has been a blessing. You can cut your workforce, I believe, down 60%, and then New York State will pick up the 80%. 80% of the, so if I lower my team to 50%, New York State will pay 80% of the 50% that they've lost, right? Yeah, and what it does is they're technically getting, it says New York State unemployment on it. So it's coming out of those unemployment funds, but when you use shared work versus full on unemployment, they protect if you have a really low unemployment rate. So, you know, some places that have high turnover, their percentage that they have to pay into unemployment increases. But if you're doing shared work, they'll maintain that. So if I had 1%, just as a hypothetical unemployment rate, it will stay there instead of it increasing. So that's been really cool. And my team appreciates it. The customers appreciate it. The
Mm-hmm.
state appreciates it. So that's been really beneficial.
So, with a lot of events going virtual, what are some things that they can do? Because, like you said, people love swag bags, people love to get free
Mhm.
stuff. That's
Right.
what you get at events. So, now with everything switching online, what are some things that people can do to still keep those attendees, you know,
Right. If you
happy,
if
I
you still
guess?
have the budget, you can still do a swag bag. The totes that just came in that we're going to be printing nonstop. Those are actually swag bags. And so for everybody as somebody registers, then we print, pick, pack, fulfill, send, right? So that all of them have their swag bag for the date of the event, and then they do a unveiling of the swag bag. So everybody gets to hold up their swag bag, gets to have
Oh,
fun,
cute.
gets to pull. It's kind of like, Christmas, right? And they're
Yeah.
they're opening those bags all at once. So people have done that. T-shirts are still a thing, so everybody's wearing their team shirts. Um, Water bottles are definitely still a thing. So getting creative about having like this. Uh,
I'm sure hand sanitizer is huge
oh
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, it is. When
Yeah.
this whole thing first started, people were like calling out, Tina, you got hand sanitizer? Nope. Nobody does.
Yeah.
Because what happened was the really big promotional products distributors, they went out and bought up all the inventory. They just like grabbed it all, and then there's nothing left. And it was like 4, 6, 8 weeks for replenishment. It was crazy. So we partnered with Black Button Distilling, and we have their hand sanitizer. And we were like, well, if you don't want it branded, we can do this for you instead. But things seem to, so there are definitely still major hiccups in the supply chain for everything. We just read a report about why, paper towels have all of a sudden, you can't find them. But the supply chain in and of itself as a whole is still challenging. Anybody that buys wholesale or is a distributor, we've all had to get creative. We've all had to, figure out who's selling, how to get our hands on that. Can we negotiate things? Some suppliers went to, where we may have had net 30 terms as a customer to one of our vendors, whoever makes water bottles or hand sanitizer or whatever that may be. They went and switched over to, I want cash up front,
Mhm.
pay in advance, which hurts our cash flow
Mhm.
because I'm never going to say to, my customers, savvy social media, oh, hey, by the way, that order, can you prepay it when I gave you net 30 terms? I just don't find that to be ethical.
Mhm.
I'd rather take my chances because, 98% of the time, it's not anything that we really have to worry about as far as our customers saying, hey, we're at net 30. So I think it's unfair to switch terms immediately when we're in being reactionary when, even though this has lasted a period of time, it's not going to be like this forever. So why are you changing the rules now? I mean, I get it. I get it when you're big. I get it. You don't know if somebody's going to close their doors tomorrow or not. But I would hope if a customer were going to close their doors tomorrow that they wouldn't be ordering swag today.
Yeah, you would think.
So, but yeah, supply chain is still a factor. But it's moving in the right direction. It's just not moving as fast as everybody would like, I think.
Yeah, and I think now we're just getting impatient with it all because it has been since March.
Right.
And
Right.
we just want life back to normal. Um,
Right.
and
Whatever that new normal is, but it's
yeah,
not there yet.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
I don't mind
thinking
wearing a
of
mask.
that with the
I'll wear a mask. Yeah.
with the holidays coming now,
Yep.
and I'm sure a lot of people did promotional gifts and stuff like
Yep.
that last
Yep.
year.
Yep.
Do you think that companies are still going to want to do the Christmas cards and the promotional gifts and all of that?
I do. I think they're going to shift to who they're buying from and what they're buying and how they're like the company that I used to work for before I bought my companies. I called them up and I said, "Hey, is it time to plan? Is it time to, because we've done the Christmas gifts for them." And he said, Tina, he goes, "We decided instead of giving, like just giving things, right, that they're going to take their efforts and put it into the community through nonprofits." And this is a company that typically was not hugely, they were philanthropic with their people, but not necessarily with the community. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
They're a very good employer to their people. And that's where they were putting their money and their efforts. But they have decided to shift for things like holidays when they spend thousands of dollars on customers, that they would take those thousands of dollars and put it into a community that needs help. So I thought that was admirable.
Yeah, I think that's great because right now I think every community
Mm-hmm.
needs help.
Yeah, nonprofits are suffering, for profits are suffering, the community at large is suffering. It's really exacerbated flaws in our systems.
Where do you see this going now? Now that you have the interns working from home and stuff like that, do you think that's something that you'll keep doing if they can't get a ride to your place, or how would that work?
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I don't have it's kind
Once
of
this does end,
it
do you
it
see
it,
this going further?
shit. I don't know, but yes. If it works, go with it. If it works really well, continue to go with it and invest
Yeah.
more in it. So I've it's interesting because I have done my budget 6 ways from Sunday. Like every month, I'm like, shit, that didn't look the way it was supposed to look or the way I
Yep.
thought it was going to look. Or so planning is, we can certainly put something down and say this looks really good and this worked and this didn't work, and whatever's not working we just won't do it again, or we'll deploy it differently. Like maybe there was just a cog in the wheel that wasn't quite working, but it can be successful. Do I see it continuing? Absolutely. I don't have it's whatever works for the interns and the company, because you don't get the interns if you don't have the company. So you have to keep the company going. So if it's working for the company and for the interns, yes, it's something that we would definitely keep going. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem deploying equipment. I don't have a problem deploying inventory and figuring out the shipping part of it. It was a learn as you go, and that's cool. It was
I
fun.
think we've all done
It was
that.
fun,
Yeah.
but not fun. Yeah, it was fun, not fun, kind of thing,
Yeah.
right? Um, but yeah, we'll continue to do it because it's something that did work.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think that's awesome because yeah, we're all finding new ways to grow our business and
Yeah.
and I guess how is your business name getting out there? Is it word of mouth right now with
It's
everything that you're
all
doing?
word of mouth. Yeah, it's all word of mouth. And our new customers have all been referral based.
Good.
Everyone, I'll get a text from, or a messenger or an email. So and so referred me to. So I heard about you through. It has all been word of mouth, but it has been incredible, incredible. So the thing to me is when everything gets back to quote unquote normal, what is I to
What's it gonna look like?
recalculate, yeah, to
Yeah.
recalculate what that growth is going to look like, because of the new customers, um, are the ones that are keeping us going, right? Are the ones that are, so then take everything, put it together, and does that, wow, I don't know
Yeah.
what that's going to look like, but if I do little calculations here and there, I go, oh, wow, this is going to be, this organization, this company, will look, if everything gets back to normal, will look very different next year at this time.
Yeah, and I think now that people see that there's so much that we can do remotely,
Mhm.
are there going to be businesses that even have employees that go, to
Correct.
a business?
There, yep, we have a number of customers who are like, hey, this remote thing
Mm-hmm.
is really working out great. We actually do, because we are allowed back in our spaces. We do have interns here for production. Our administrative team is, my team has actually worked out their own schedule for those that can work remotely. Um, so we'll continue to do that forever. Like, there's no reason I need, six admin people in here when
Mm-hmm.
two will do.
Yeah.
And then that allows them to continue, a different, their life gets to look different on a more consistent basis. Does that make sense?
Yes, no, it
Yeah.
does. And I burst my son's bubble the other day. He heard me talking with my husband. There's going to be no more snow days either. Now that
Right?
they're doing everything remotely, they already said no more snow days.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So,
I think that my heart goes out to, you have homeschooling going on and you work
mhm,
remotely. What does the teacher do who also has kids, who's, so they're teaching, they're also having to homeschool. I
yeah.
mean, this is when you sit down and think about the implications, it's mind boggling. And then, you have the pros and the cons, and you have the this and the goods and the bads, and the arguing and the not arguing, and the, people coming to the table with solutions. But this is going to actually change how we do everything on a
Oh,
long-term basis.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think it's
Um,
going to end up impacting real estate, commercial real estate. Offices that used to have 7,000 square feet might only have to have 3,000 square feet,
downsize, yeah.
right? So it's gonna change that landscape.
Mm-hmm. Now,
It'll be interesting.
how old is your daughter, right?
19.
19. So how did she adjust to this, if you don't mind me
Nothing I
asking?
gotta worry about.
Yeah, she's not 9, right?
Right, 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 right. Yep,
So
yep.
did
Got a
she
job working.
adjusted to she adjusted to the remote learning well and being home
N-
and
no remote learning. Got a
okay,
job working in as an essential worker. Yeah,
good for
it's
her.
all good.
Good.
Yeah.
Um, what did you learn about yourself? What have you learned about yourself so far during this process?
Um. Wow. What have I learned about myself? I can tell you some things that have changed for me. Um. I have always. Let me rephrase. I've worked a lot on having grace, in my words, how I respond, in a trying time. If something goes sideways, I can say that I have Grace. There are days that Grace leaves the building, or she
Mm,
stands in the corner and giggles at me, um, because we where in one instance, we may have, something's gone sideways. Things go sideways. We're human beings. It
mhm,
happens, right?
mhm.
And I think we should be allowed to our humanity. And making a mistake, especially when it's a t-shirt, is really no big deal. We'll just fix it. Um, but we have had, I'm thinking of one instance in particular where I had a customer behaves like, it was so entitled and so, and I'm trying to have grace, and I'm trying to look at it through their lens, and I'm really having a hard time with their lens, right? So I was like, go somewhere else then. Ain't nobody gonna do what we did for you in the time that we did for it. I don't need you. I don't need your money. I don't need your business. Go. And it was just like that. And it was like, oh wow, Tina, I can't believe you just said that. You never say that. Well, today I did, because I've had it up to here, sweetie. You know, so So when that type of, sorry about that, when that type of behavior manifests itself, I do my very best to see it through a different lens. But man, if that lens is hazy, I've lost grace, right? And I don't think I'm wrong to do that, because of the work that we do, because of our team members, because you don't get to beat up on my team because a t-shirt was wrong. That's not what we do here, right? You bring it to my attention, we take a look at it, we come up with a solution, we move forward with a solution. Period.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get to keep yapping in my ear. It's not what we're doing here. You don't get to beat up on my team. Shit happens.
I was going to say, what have you learned about your team during all of this?
Oh my gosh, resilience. Resilience. Amazing. Oof, bringing up efficiencies, right? Learning how to work differently, going with the flow. I found out how deep the loyalty is. It's been humbling, very humbling, and
With
that's
all
why
the
I'm
work,
protecting even harder.
yeah, no, I don't blame you. And with all the work that you've done with our Rochester community, what have you learned about the community during this time?
I find it to be amazingly supportive. I do think we have, lots of larger challenges that we need to address on
Mhm.
many different levels. We do need to, we all know we have systemic racism. We need to work on that as a community. We need to work on poverty and solutions to that. We need to listen to our community. As a business owner and an advocate and an ally, it's not for me to step up and say, here's what you need to a community that's hurting. It is the community who says, this is what we need. And then I step up and support how I can,
Mhm.
in what capacity I can, to fill that need. So, and I think that has really, I've watched other business owners do the same, and I'm proud to stand side by side with them and work together with them, in however that needs to look, whether that's the pantry, whether that's t-shirts, whether that's whatever that looks like, whether that's me on the phone advocating for one of my team members or one of their team members to make sure that transportation's there, benefits are there, landlords aren't taking advantage, doing that advocacy work on a one-on-one grassroots basis, however it needs to look. And I've watched, I'm proud to say, a lot of women business owners that I'm friends with. We may have been associates 7 months ago, but now we're friends. And to watch that evolve and watch it's not, strength isn't the word that I want to use. Veracity,
Mhm.
right? Um, yeah,
Courage, bravery.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that makes me proud of, um, my fellow business owners that are
Mhm.
doing the work. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. You're definitely
Thank you for
very
having me.
inspiring for all that you've done for our community and all that you still keep doing.
Thanks.
How can people get in touch with you?
Um, Tina P at imprintablesolutions.com. Through our website, feel free to call my cell phone, 585-261-4475. It's attached to my hip every day of the week. Yeah, and if you're interested in seeing what we do and how we do it, I'm happy for people to come in. I'm happy if there are any business owners out there who would like to do the type of work we're doing, but maybe have some fear of the unknown. I'm happy to have you come in, meet my kids, see what the impact looks like, and then, be very open and honest about your fears, and I'll address them, right?
Yeah.
I think there are more businesses who can be doing the type of work that we're doing, and I think it's needed in the community for a lot of different reasons. But have a fear, right? A fear of the unknown.
hmm I think it's great. You have such a heart and a passion for what you do. How did you get that? I guess I don't know. How did you became?
Oh,
You're so passionate.
I am. I'm passionate about young people.
Yeah, you
Um,
are.
yeah, I think so. I'll give you personal information. When I was 19, I lived on the streets for about a year, and I was in a situation. It was just a very interesting situation that I had to figure out, right? So I think I always wonder if the resources had been available, if the organizations were around, and if I had known about them, would my life look different, and how would it look different? Would I be in the same type of position and capacity just sooner, right? So I often wonder what that would have looked like. And I think another big piece to it is, if those resources were there, I was unaware of them. So how do we get that information out to folks that need those resources,
Hmm.
right? And that's why I'm so passionate, and that's why I advocate, and that's why I've gone from assertive to aggressive. um, and I'm shameless about it. Um, but would it have looked different? Would I
Yeah.
have healed more quickly?
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this and for all that you do for our Rochester community. I think it's wonderful, like I said. If you guys have any questions for Tina, if you want to go into the live after Tina and comment with all of your contact information, you can reach out to Tina anytime and make sure to post your questions, comments, thoughts in the comments area, and we'll make sure to watch out for those. So thank you very much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. I'll see you later. Bye
See
bye.
you.